Hey guys, welcome to the ultimate guide to building an e-commerce app REST API with Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB, and TypeScript. This is the last video of our REST API series. You might be wondering why we are using TypeScript for our e-commerce app development. Well, let me tell you, it's a game changer. TypeScript brings static typing to JavaScript, allowing us to catch errors early in the development process. TypeScript enhances the developer experience by providing features like code completion, type inference, and intelligent code analysis. TypeScript also has a vibrant ecosystem with a wide range of libraries, frameworks, and tools designed specially for TypeScript development. Whether it's Express.js middleware, MongoDB drivers, or testing frameworks, TypeScript integrates seamlessly with popular technologies in the Node.js ecosystem. In summary, we are using TypeScript in our e-commerce app development to improve code quality, enhance developer productivity, and future-proof our application for scalability and maintainability. So buckle up and get ready to harness the full power of TypeScript in our project. So let's get started. So let us start with an empty project that is e-commerce REST. And now I'm gonna install the package.json file. For that, I'm gonna write npm init -y. So it will install package.json file in our folder, which will contain our future dependencies. Okay, so now I'm gonna install some important dependencies, that is Express, Mongoose, .env, bcrypt, cookie parser, JSON web token, and yeah, that's it. Let's install these packages. We can see the packages are getting installed. Node modules file is also there, and package log.json file is also there. Okay, now let's go to package.json and we can see our dependencies. Now for development, we have to install some more dependencies, as it is a TypeScript project, so we have to do some extra steps. For that, I'm gonna write npm install. I'm gonna add the dependencies. So let's write it like this: @types slash express @types slash decrypt @types slash cookie parser. I'm gonna install all the types for the packages that I have installed except mongoose and .env, because those types are already included in the package. So let's also install TypeScript @type slash node ts node node1, and let's write --save -dev, because these are all dev dependencies. We don't need them in our production. Okay, so the dependencies are getting installed, and here we go. Let's go to package.json, and inside dev dependencies we can see all our dependencies there. Now for the next step, now let's create a new file, tsconfig.json, which will make sure how our TypeScript code should compile. And let's paste this code. You can get this code from my GitHub repository. Now let's create a new folder. that is source, which will contain our main files, and inside it let's create our entry point index.ts. Now let's go to package.json, and here for main let's write the path name for the main file, that is index.ts, and I'm gonna remove this and right here for dev we are gonna use node1, and inside source our index.ts. Okay, so our basic setup is ready. Now let's go to index.ts and let's write some code here. Let's write import express from express. So I have imported express from express package. Now I'm gonna create the app. So let's write const app equals the express instance. Okay, now let's listen our server. So for that app dot listen, let's write the port number. On 5000 we are listening, and after that let's create a function. Inside it I'm gonna write server is running. Okay, so this is our basic minimalistic server. Now let's try to run our server. Npm run dev. Okay, we can see our server, and we can see it is also using tsnode package. So the first step was to run our server. That is done now. Now that our server is running, let's try to configure database in our application. So let's create a folder database, and inside it let's create a new file, that is connectdb.ts. Okay, now let's first import the mongoose package. So import mongoose from mongoose. Now let's create the function to connect the database. So const connect db equals, it would be an async function. So async, let's create try catch block here, error, and if there is error we are gonna console log it. So inside console log let's write error, and inside try block I'm gonna write await mongoose dot connect, and inside it the database URL should go. Okay, so we have to get the database URL, and after getting the database URL we are gonna console log database is connected successfully to know that our database is connected. Now let's write export statement here. Export default the connectdb function so that we can use that function in index.ts. So now let's go to mongodb.com and let's create a new project. I'm gonna name it eCommerce app. Okay, now let's click on next. Let's create the project. Okay, it is created. Now create let's click on create, and I'm gonna go with the free tier. Let's click on free and let's proceed. I'm gonna change the password. Let's say the password is eCommerce. Now let's choose connection method. Okay, so I have to click here, and now let's choose a connection method. I'm gonna go with drivers. Let's take this URL, paste it here, and you can see the password is already there. Now let's write here DB. This is the collection name, and inside index.ts and inside app.listen, I'm gonna write the connect DB. I'm calling it here, and we should see database is connected successfully message here. Okay, so our database is connected successfully. Okay, so now we cannot use this database URL directly here. For that, I'm gonna use a package which we have already installed. For that, I'm gonna create a new file here, that is .env, and I'm gonna write here MongoDB URI equals the database URL. Okay, this .env file doesn't go in our GitHub, so people cannot know what was inside our .env file. So for security reasons, we are gonna using this. So let's import the .env package. Import .env from .env. Okay, and let's write here .env.config. Now we should be good to use our secret variables from .env files. Let's write here process .env dot the variable name, that is MongoDB URI. Okay, now also it should work fine. Yeah, database is connected successfully is coming. So this is how we secretly use our variables, and I'm gonna let's write here port also, port 5000, and use it here process.env.port. Okay, so now let's move ahead to create the models for our backend. Let's create the models folder inside the source folder. This would be the blueprint of our entities in our backend. So let's first create the user model, user.ts. Yeah, and after that, let's create a new file of product model, product.ts. After that, let's create the order model, order.ts. Then the next model, that is address.ts. Yeah, and after that, let's create the cart model, then the wishlist model, so wishlist.ts. So these are the models that we are going to need. So let's first create the user model. Let's first import the mongoose package. After that, let's define the schema for the user. This is the blueprint of the user, how the user should be constructed. So our user should have the name, which should be of type string, and it is required. So required should be true. After that, the second essential thing should be email, type should be string, required should be true. And after that, user should have a password. Okay, the email should be unique, so make it true. And let's create the password field. Password type should be string, and required should be true. Okay, so I guess our user schema is defined. Yeah, that's it. Now let's define the user constant. It will hold the model. So mongoose dot model, and let's write the user type here. We will define it later. And user, and let's match it with user schema. In our database, the it should be created with a name of the plural of the user. And now export this user model. Yeah, now let's create the user type. So in TypeScript, we create the type by writing type and the name of the type, like user type. And it is kind of object like structure, so name should be of type string, email should be of type string, and password should be of type string. Now you can see the red lines are gone, and yeah, our type is created. Now let's create a new folder for our types. So type folder, and inside it let's create the file named type.ts. Let's take our user type here, and let's write export so that we can use it in our user model. And let's import this. Yeah, so all of the types that we are gonna create in future will be inside type.ts. So let's create the product schema now. So let's first import the mongoose package. Now let's define the product schema. Product schema equals new schema. Schema should be imported from the mongoose package. Yeah, and inside it let's define the object of product schema. It should have name, which is of type string, and required should be true, obviously. And after that it should have the price. It should be of type number, and required should be true. After that it should have description, which should be of type string, and required should be true. And after that uh, it should have images. It can have multiple images, that's why I have created the array symbol there. So inside each elements of the image, it should be of type string because there should be an URL, and required should be true. After that, each product should have one or more categories. So category of type array, and inside the elements it should have type string, and required should be true. And color should be there, which is optional. Required can be false. And after that, size can be there, so let's add size, type string, and required false. Yeah, const product equals mongoose.model product type, and let's write the name product. In our database it should be saved as products. Now export the product model, export default product, and let's define this product type inside our types.ts. So let's write export type product type, and it should have name of type string and price of type number, description of type string, after that images of type string array, after that it had color of type string array, sorry, and size of type string array. Yeah, so product type is done. Let's import this. Yeah, it is imported. Perfect. Let's move ahead to the next model, that is order model. Let's import the mongoose package. Const order schema equals new schema. Let's import the schema from mongoose package. Let's define the schema. User, it should have user of type schema dot types dot object id, and a ref should be user, which will be connected to user model, and required should be true because every order should have one user. And after that it should have products. It can have one or multiple products, so that is why it is an array. And it should have product of type schema dot types dot object id, and ref should be product, required should be true, and quantity should be there, which is of type number, and this is a must, so required is true. So after that let's add total price, which is of type number, and required should be true. And after that let's add status. Type should be string, and it should have enum, which will contain the possible statuses of the order, that is pending, processing, okay. And after that it should contain shipped, and delivered, and required should be true. After the status uh, it should have address, and type should be schema dot types dot object id, ref should be of address model because we have also created address model, and required should be obviously true. Now let's write const order equals mongoose dot model. Let's write the type order type and order, and let's write the order schema that we have recently defined. Let's actually make this capital. Yeah, perfect. And now let's export the order, export default order. Let's define the order type. Let's copy this and let's write here export type order type. For the first attribute, it had user, which should be of type string. Products and individual products element should be product of type string, quantity of type number, and it should be of type array of this object, and total price should be number, should be of type number, and status should be of type string, and address, let's actually write the type like this: mongoose dot, I think types, yeah, types dot object id. And let's copy this and we can write this user type also like this. And yeah, so it's done. Let's import the order type. Okay, so order model is also done. Let's move it to the next model, that is cart model. Now let's move it to the cart schema. Const cart schema equals new schema, and new schema, and inside the parenthesis let's create the object for the cart. It should have a user. Actually, let's go to the order schema and let's copy this thing, paste it over here, and after that a cart should have multiple products. I mean, it can have multiple products, so let's copy this. It would be same, and by default the quantity should be 1, so default 1. And after that uh, I guess that's it. Yeah, uh, so cart schema is ready. Now const cart equals mongoose dot model cart type and cart, and let's match the cart schema here, and let's export the cart model. Yeah, now let's create the cart type. Export type cart type. Now space, and it should be kind of similar to the order type, so I can copy from the order type. So let's copy and paste it here. Yeah, And for the product we can use this mongoose.types.object id. So yeah, perfect. So card type is also ready. Now let's import this type here. Okay, now the wish list model. Let's go for the wish list model. This would be similar to the cart model, so let's copy and paste it here. Now let's change the names. Wish list schema. Wish list schema. Yeah, and it should be wish list type. Okay, and it should be wish list. And this should also be wish list. Yeah, now let's define the wish list type. We don't also need the quantity here. And let's define the wish list type now. Let's go to types.ts and let's define the type. Let's copy this, paste it here, remove the quantity, and yeah, so wish list type is also created. Now let's import this into our model. Okay, it is imported. Now our last schema, that is address schema. So let's write const address schema equals new schema, and it should have user. Let's copy the user, paste it over here, and after that address line 1 type should be string and required should be true. And after that let's create address line 2. It should be same type and required should be false here, address line 2. Yeah, and after that let's add, actually let's copy this thing. It should be kind of same of type. Let's change this to maybe city and state and country and postal code. Yeah, so address schema is also done. Now let's write const address equals mongoose dot model address type and address and address schema. Yeah, let's export this, export default address schema, sorry address. Yeah, now let's create the address type inside types.ts. So export type address type, and let's add the attributes. The first attribute is the user. Now address line 1, it should be of type string. Address line 2, city of type string. State of type string, and country of type string, and the postal code. So postal code of type string. Yeah, perfect. Now let's import this type here. Okay, it is imported and all of our models are done, I guess. Address, cart, order, product, user, and wishlist. Yeah, all of the models are created. And let's now move ahead to our next step. So let's create the routes folder inside the source folder. And inside it, let's create auth.ts for the authentication routes. So let's first import the express from express package. So import express from express. Okay, now let's define the router. So const router equals express dot router. Okay, so router is defined. Now let's write export default router so that we can use this router in our index.ts. Let's make it default. Yeah. Now let's first create our first route, that is the register route. So whenever a user comes and enters the required details, then it will register the user in our database. So it should be post request, the URL should be /register, and let's create the async function which will take request response, and after that, yeah, let's add try catch block inside it. This is the basic structure of the try catch block. So in the catch block we are returning the response with the status code of 500, and as a JSON we are passing the error. And whenever a user registers himself or tries to register himself, we are going to first look into the database and see if the user has his email previously registered or not. So let's destructure the name, email, and password from request.body, and let's add the types here. Request should be of type request, and response should be of type response. Response, yeah. Let's import it from Express package. And yeah, now as a next step, let's find the existing user inside our database. So await user model dot find. Let's find one user with its email address. So find one, and inside curly braces let's write email. So it will find the user, it will find the existing user. So if there is existing user, we are gonna return a response. So response dot status, the status code should be 400, and inside the JSON we will say that user already exists. And if that is not the case, then we are gonna register the user. So const salt equals await bcrypt. We are gonna use the bcrypt package to hash the password for our security reasons. So bcrypt.gen salt. Let's add 10 value here. What it will do is it will randomly generate a integer value. So let's import the bcrypt package also. So import bcrypt from bcrypt. Okay, so after the salt is created, we are going to mix this salt up with our request.body.password that we have already destructured from the request.body. So const hashed password equals await bcrypt dot hash sync. It will hash the password, and let's mix it up with the salt. Now it should be hashed, and we are gonna save the details of the new user inside our database. So let's create the new user. Spread operator request.body. Password should be hashed password. Now let's save the user. That is const saved user equals await new user dot save. Now response dot status 201 dot json saved user. Okay, so I think our register route is done. First of all, we are checking the existing user, then we are hashing the password and saving the user to our database. And now let's go to index.ts and let's add the route as a middleware. So below the .env.config, let's first write uh, app app.use express.json to parse the JSON data. So after that, let's add the route as a middleware. So the route should be slash API slash auth, and let's add the auth route. Now let's import the router as auth route. Import auth route from dot slash routes slash auth. Okay, now we are good to go to use our authentication route. So for that, I'm gonna use Thunder client to test our API. You can find this extension in the extensions of VS Code. Just install this extension and you will be good to go to test the API routes. Now let's create a new collection here for our e-commerce project. E-commerce. Now let's create a new folder for auth routes. So auth and a new request, that is register. So it should be a post request and the URL should be http colon slash localhost 5000 slash API slash auth slash register. So this route works like this slash API slash auth, and it will be after that register should be appended with it. So yeah, it is done, and let's add some JSON data inside our body. Let's say name should be John Doe. Let's add the email john@gmail.com, and password it should be John John Doe. Yeah, let's click on send, and yeah, the user is created. You can see the status code of 200. Now let's go to our database, go to browse collections, and you can see this is the sample DB, so ignore it. And you can see in our database inside the user collections, the user is registered with the hashed password. So this route is working completely fine. Now let's create a folder for our middlewares. So inside it, let's first create our error.ts middleware. Okay, here we are going to define the custom error. So for that, let's create the custom error class, which will extend error class. So class custom error extends error. Okay, inside it, let's create the constructor. So constructor, it should take status code, which should be of type number, and which is public, and it will take message. So message should be of type string. And now let's initialize the message using super keyword message. Okay, after that, this dot status code should be status code. Status code. Okay, now let's create the error handler function. So const error handler, which will take four things, that is error. So which should be of type error, and it will take request of type request, response of type response, and after that it should take next function, so that we can move ahead to our next steps. Okay, and let's add a condition if error is instance of custom error which we have created, then we are gonna return response dot status code of the error dot status code, which we will send, and it should have a JSON message which is inside error, so err dot message. And if that is not the case, okay, and if that is not the case, then we are gonna return a default error message, that is of status code 500, and a JSON message of let's say internal server. Message should be internal server error, internal server error. Now let's import the response and request. Okay, now everything is done. Now let's write the export statement. Okay, everything is fine. Is there is any problem? Okay, I've forgotten the arrow symbol. Now let's write export error handler and custom error, so that we can use custom error everywhere. And we'll now use the error handler in our index.ts as a middleware. So app.use error handler. Okay, now we can use custom error. Let's start with this line. Let's remove this and let's write throw new custom error. It will take the status code. It was 400, and it will take a message. So let's write user already exists. Okay, and let's add next function here. Next should be of type next function. Next function. Okay, and let's add next here. Next error. Okay, So it will pass our error to the error handler. And now let's click on send and it should work. Okay, user already exists, so you can see our error handler is working perfectly fine. So now let's move ahead to our next route, that is login route. So let's write router dot post slash login, and let's create the function async request should be of type request, response should be of type response, and next should be of type next function. Let's add the braces. Okay, let's create the try catch block, error, and pass the error to the next function. Okay, now what we will do is we'll first get the user from the database using the email address that we are providing in our request.body. So it should find the user using the email. So request.body.email. After that, if it doesn't get any user, then it's gonna throw a new custom error of status code 404 and user not found message. Okay, and if there is user, then our next step should be to check the credentials. So const match equals await bcrypt.compare. I'm gonna compare the password with the actual password with the password that we are provided. So request.body.password is the password that we have provided, and user.password is the actual password. So if match is false, then I'm gonna throw a new custom error here. So throw new custom error. It should be 401 and it should be invalid credentials or wrong credentials. Okay, and if the password matches, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna generate a token. So const token, I'm gonna generate this token using JWT. So let's import JWT. So import JWT from JSON web token. Okay, so it will create a new token. For that I'm gonna use the sign method here, JWT.sign. So what it will uh, store inside is it will store ID. Actually it will use the ID to generate the token. So ID should be of user.id underscore ID, and after that what it will take is it will take a secret string. For that I'm gonna write for now secret. I'm gonna change it later, and after that I can pass the expiry time. So expire in, let's say I'm gonna pass 3 days. It will be valid for 3 days. So a token would be generated, and after that let's actually define the secret key here. So JWT secret, it should be, let's say I'm gonna write TypeScript. Okay, and let's define the JWT expire also. it should be, let's say, 3 days. So 3 day, and let's use it here. Process dot env dot JWT secret. Okay, it should be, let's write here as string, and here also let's write process dot env dot JWT expire as string. Okay, perfect. So a token would be generated after this. Now let's return our token inside the cookie, so which will have a name of token. So response dot cookie token, and the status code should be 200, and let's return the user dot id as a JSON. Okay, so our route looks perfect. Yeah, everything looks fine. Actually, let's return here login successful. It would be better. Okay, so let's test this route. Before that, let's import the cookie parser here in index.ts so that we can parse the cookies. So app.use cookie parser. Yeah. Now let's test this route. Let's create a new request, login, and it should be a post request. Let's write the route API slash auth slash login, and inside the body, I'm gonna pass the email and the password. Email, let's say john@gmail.com, and password was John Doe. Okay, let's click on send. Okay, login successful. And if we go to cookies, we can see that the token is generated with the name of token, and we can see the value also. Okay, perfect. Now if I change the password a little bit, it shows wrong credentials, and if I change the email, then user not found. Perfect, everything is working perfect. And so yeah, this route is done. Now we can move ahead to our next route, that is logout route. So slash slash logout and router, it should be a get request. So router dot get slash logout. Let's create the function. Let's copy this, paste it here. Okay, try catch block. Okay, and now let's write response dot clear cookie. I'm gonna clear the cookie, and it should clear the token inside cookie, and same side should be none, so that cookies can be sent in cross origin requests, and secure should be true so that cookies can be sent over HTTPS connections. And let's send a status code of 200, and let's write a message JSON. The message should be user logged out successfully. Okay, the message is added. Now let's test this route. Go to Thunder client and let's create a new request for logout. log out, and it should be get request, and let's add the URL. So it should be log out. Let's click on send, and user logged out successfully. Let's go to cookies, and we can see the token value is not there. So this route is also done. Now let's move ahead to the next route, that is fetch uh fetch current user router dot get. It should be get request. So slash refresh, and let's copy this, paste it here. So we are gonna refetch the user using our token that is stored in our cookies. So let's write catch error, next error. Okay, let's get the cookie first. Sorry, the token first. So for that, what I'm gonna do is const token equals request dot cookies dot token. Okay, so this is how we can get the token value, and after that I'm gonna decode this token. So const decoded equals jwt dot, I'm gonna use the verify method. So it will take the token and the jwt secret. So process dot env dot jwt secret as string. Okay, and it will give a value inside decoded. So what I'm gonna do is I'll extract the id from the decoded. So decoded as uh, jwt payload, and inside it there is the id. So you can see the id was there, so I can get the id. Now I'm gonna fetch the user using this id. So const user equals await user dot find by id. I'm gonna pass the id here. Okay, so now let's return the response with a status code of 200, and inside JSON I'm gonna return the user that we have got from the database. Okay, now let's test this route. Let's create a new request, refetch. It should be a get request, and let's add the URL API slash auth slash refetch. Okay, now let's click on send. Okay, internal server error because we have logged out our user. Now let's click on login. So the token should be generated. You can see the token is generated. Now we can get the user details using this token. Let's click on send, and we can see the user is there. So yeah, this route is also working perfectly fine. Now let's move ahead, and our auth route is done. Now yeah, let's move ahead and create our other routes. Users.ts. Okay, now let's import the express package. Express, import express from express. Yeah, and let's create the router. Okay, express dot router. Okay, now uh let's create the first route, that is update user. So let's first write the export default router so that we can use this router. Now let's write router dot, it should be a put method because we are updating the user details. So the route should be slash update and slash colon user ID. Let's create the function now. Request should be type of request from express package, and response should be of type response express package. And let's import the next function also. So next should be of type next function. Yeah, now arrow function, and let's add the try catch block inside it. Okay, error. Now next error. Okay, so at first we are gonna see if the user wants to update the password. So request.body.password and const salt. We are gonna create the salt first. Bcrypt. Okay, it is imported. Bcrypt.gensalt. Let's hit 10. Okay, after that I'm gonna write here const hash password equals wait bcrypt dot hash sync the request.body.password that user has provided, and I'll mix it up with salt. Now I'm gonna change the value of request.body.password to hashed password. Okay, so it should be hashed, and after that I'm gonna implement the update functionality. So let's write const updated user equals await user model dot find by, let's import this user model dot find by id and update, and request dot params dot user id. This is the user id from the url, and after that uh, I'm gonna implement the update thing. So let's write dollar sign and set, it should be, it should set the request dot body as a updated value, and new should be true so that we'll get the new user details in our db. So now response dot status, and status code should be 200, and we are gonna pass the updated user as json response. Okay, so I guess this route is done. Yeah, everything looks fine, and here we can add another line, that is const user equals await user dot find. I'm gonna find the user, find by id. So request dot params dot user id, and if there is no user, then I'm gonna return the custom, I'm gonna throw the custom error. So let's throw this, and the status code should be 404, and the message should be user not found. Okay, now I guess it's done. Let's take this here and let's import the router. So let's copy this and place it here. Yeah, and after this let's write import user router, user route from the path inside the routes and inside users. Okay, now app.use slash API slash user, and let's add the user route here. Okay, perfect. So now let's go to Thunder client and let's test the route. Let's create a new folder for user. Actually, let's make it users, yeah. And let's create a new request for updating the user. Let's go to register and let's update this user. Let's copy this portion. Okay, let's make it Snehasish Day. That is my name. And let's make it snehasish@gmail.com. Actually, let's register this user. Yeah, Snehasish. It's the password, and let's click on send. And yeah, it is created. And let's take this user's ID to update. Okay, now it should be put request and http localhost 5000 API slash user slash update slash the user ID. Okay, now let's try to update the name. Let's make it maybe John Cena. Okay, and yeah, it is updated. And if we go to our database and let's refresh, and we can see maybe it's updated. Yeah, it's updated. So yeah, let's revert back this. So Snehashish Day. Yeah, let's click on send, and yeah, it is reverted back. So let's remove this, and yeah, now let's go for the next routes, which is get user route. So it should give the user details. So let's write router, small letters, yeah, and it should be get request and colon user ID. Let's create the function. Let's actually copy this, it's too long. So paste it here, yeah, and let's add the curly braces and try catch block error, and inside next let's pass the error. So it should be passed by, and yeah, now it should be a simple route. Now let's write, I have to just uh, extract the user ID from the params, so request.params, yeah. Now I'll have to just get the user from the database. So const user equals await user dot find by ID, yeah, and the user ID. Okay, after that we can add this line also. So let's add this line here. Now let's return the user as a response dot status code, let's say 200, and let's pass the user as JSON. Okay, so this route is also created. Now let's move ahead to test this route. Let's copy this URL and let's create the get route, and let's paste it here, and let's remove this, and yeah, let's click on send, and yeah, our user is there. So perfect, yeah. Now let's move it to the next route, that is delete user, delete, yeah, and so router dot delete, and route should be slash delete slash the user ID. Now let's create the function. Request should be of type request. Response. Okay, and next function. Yeah, let's destructure the user ID first. Okay, user ID, and we'll get it from request dot params. Okay, after that let's write the try catch block, error, and next error. Okay, and now const user to delete equals await. Let's find the user first. So user dot find by id, and we'll find the user by the user id, and let's paste this line here. Okay, it should be user to delete, and now let's write await user to delete dot uh, delete one. Okay, delete one, and it should be deleted. And now let's return the response with the status code of 200 and with JSON, and let's write the message to be uh, user deleted successfully. Okay, now let's test this route. Let's create a new request, delete, and let's copy this, delete. Okay, let's click on the send. Okay, something is wrong. Okay, I'll have to change this. So delete. Let's click on send, and user deleted successfully. Let's refresh to see if the user is deleted or not. And yeah, the user is deleted. Let's create this user again. Okay, yeah, perfect. So users route is complete for us. The name of the middleware should be verified token.ts. Now let's create the function to verify the token. So let's write const verified token equals, it will take request of type request and response response, yeah, this one, and the next, which should be of type next function. Okay, curly braces, and let's get the token from the request.cookies. So request.cookies dot token, yeah. Now if there is no token, then I'm gonna throw custom error, throw new custom error. Status code should be 401, and the message should be you are not authenticated. Okay, and if there is token, then I'm gonna proceed, and let's add the try catch block, error, next error. Okay, now I'm gonna get the GAWT payload. So let's write const decoded equals JWT. I'm gonna use JWT dot verify method, which will verify the token using the token and the JWT secret. So process dot env dot JWT secret as string. Okay, it will give a JWT payload. Inside it, the ID is there. So request dot user ID, request dot user ID should be equal to decoded as JWT payload. Okay, and inside it, the underscore ID is there. So let's write underscore ID, and it is giving an error under the user ID because I have to define the type for it, the request. Now let's write next function here so that it will move further. Now let's extend the global scope of TypeScript to add the custom property of user ID in the request. Global curly braces, and inside namespace express and interface request, and user ID is there, so which is a type of string. Now the error is gone. So yeah, this is our verify token function. Now let's write the export statement. Export default verified token. Okay, now let's go to index.ts and let's write this verified token as a middleware here. So before go to user route and implement the routes, it will verify the token. Now let's try to take the user ID and let's try to update the user. Let's paste it here and let's change the name to John Cena. Let's click on send and it is updated to John Cena. But yeah, let's add a console log here to know that it is passed. Now let's click on let's change the name again to Snehasish Day, and let's click on send, and we can see in the terminal the past is there. So our verify token function is working perfectly fine. Now let's move ahead. So now let us create a new route, that is products.ts. And for the first step, we are going to import the express from express package. So let's do this. Now let us define the router variable. So const router equals express dot router. Okay, and now let us write export default router so that we can use this router in our index.js. And for the first route, let's create the create product route, and this is only for admin. Only admin can create products, that is why I have written that. So router.post and the URL should be /create, and let's create the function. Async request should be of type express request, and response should be of type express response. response, yeah. And after that, next should be of type next function. Okay, let's add the curly braces, and let's create the try catch block here. Before that, let's write const new product equals new. This is the product model, and it should take request.body inside it. And now let's add the try catch block. Error, and next should be error, yeah. And after that, let's write here const saved product equals await. We now are just gonna save the new product. New product dot save, it will save the new product to our database, and that's it. Yeah, now let's return the response with a status code of maybe 201. Yeah, and JSON should be saved product. Okay, so the route is created. Yeah, now let's go to index.ts and import the product route from dot slash routes slash products. Yeah, and after that, over here, it should be app.use slash API slash product and comma. I'll have to write the product route. Okay, now let's test this API route for create product. So let's go to Thunder client and let's create a new folder for the products route, and let's create a new request, that is create product. Yeah, create. So it should be post request, and let's set up the URL. It should be API slash product slash create, I think. Yeah, create. Now inside the body, let's add the required body. First thing is, I guess, name. Let's check from the products model. So first thing is name, price, description, images. Okay, name, price, it should be a number. So description and images, I think. Yeah, images. Okay, it should be an array, and after that, category array. Yeah, and color, array of strings, and size. Okay, so let's add the details. I'm fast forwarding this. Okay, there is some error, I think. It's giving internal server error. Something is cracking, I think. Let's see. It looks fine. I don't think there is any problem here. And let's go to the product model, I think. Mm, yeah, everything looks fine. Let's go to the model. And okay, description should be of type string. Sorry for the mistake. And okay, it is fixed. And let's check the types also. Okay, I have made it string already, so now it should work, I think. Let's see. Looks like it will work. Yeah, it worked. So the first product is created. Now let's create other products. So I'm fast forwarding this. Let's refresh the database and let's see. Okay, three products are there. Yeah, I've created three products. So this create products route is complete. Now let's move ahead to the next route. So this would be the search products route, and route.get and slash search and colon query. Okay, now let's create the function request response and next. Okay, try catch block. Okay, so in this route, let's first get the query from the params. So const query equals query equals request dot params dot query. So okay, yeah. Now let's write const products equals await product model, and let's write find. I'm gonna write the condition here. That is, let's write dollar sign or, and inside the array, it will look for the product name, and uh, which should be dollar regular expression new regex regular expression, and query should be there, and let's write I for because it will search between capital case letters and small case letters also. So name, and I'll search inside the category also, so it will give us the products, and let's return the response with a status code of 200 and JSON of products. Now let's test this route. So search, it should be get request, and let's add the URL. So product slash search slash, let's search for shoes. Okay, okay, let's now try with another example. Let's write headphone. Let's click on send. Yeah, there is one result, and our route is working fine. So let's search this. Yeah, hammer. Okay, the search route is working fine, and now let's move ahead to the next route. So our next route should be get all get all products. Yeah, so for that, let's write router dot get, and it should get all the products. So slash, and let's copy this function starter. Yeah, paste it here. Let's add the curly braces, and try catch block. Next error. Okay, and it should be a simple function const products equals await, product dot find. It should get all the products from our database. And now let's return the products. Let's test this route. We should get 3 products. Let's see, get all. And let's add the URL. Okay, let's click on send. Yeah, all the 3 products are there, and this route is also working fine. Now let's move on to the next route, that is get products based on category. So it should fetch all the products based on category. Let's copy this, paste it here. It should be similar, so only the category thing should be there. We should filter the products by the categories. So category equals request.params.category. Yeah, and inside the find function we should find the products based on category. New request get get category products. Yeah, let's paste the URL. Let's write shoes maybe. Let's click on send. 2 results should be there. Yeah, there are 2 results. And if I write electronics, it should give us 1 result. Yeah, perfect. So this is also done. Now let's move on to the next route, that is our get product. It should fetch all the product details. Paste it here, and it should be get slash the product ID. Okay, let's destructure the ID from the params. So const ID equals request.params. Okay, and inside the find I'll find it by the ID. So find by ID, and ID should go there. Yeah, and it should return the product. Perfect. Let's take one of the IDs from the products. Let's create a new request, get, and paste the URL and paste the ID. Yeah, let's click on send. Okay, it's also working fine. So I think our products route is done. Yeah, all of the important routes are done. So in this route, I'm not adding the verified token because only the create product thing is done by the admin, and the other routes are accessible by public. So yeah, that is not required for this route. Only this route is for admin. So our next route should be for addresses. So let's write addresses.ts, and for the first step, the same step again. We are gonna import the Express from Express package. Now let's define the router. Const router equals express.router. Let's export the router. Okay, now let's create the create address router dot post slash create and the async function request response and the next function. Okay, let's add the try catch block. It should be similar to other create routes. So const new address equals new address, the address model. It is imported or not. Let's see. Let's import the address model. Yeah, it is imported, and let's write const saved address equals new new address, yeah, dot save. Perfect. Now let's return, it should be await. Let's return the saved address response dot status of 201 dot json saved address. Yeah, let's go to our thunder client and go to collections, and let's create a new folder for the addresses route addresses. And before that, let's go to index.ts and import the router, sorry, import address route from routes, and inside it addresses, yeah, and app.use slash api slash address, and let's write the address route. Okay, now let's go and create the create route create, and it should be post request. Let's add the url. It should be address slash create, yeah. Let's add the body. What are the things that are required? Let's see. Okay, user, address line 1, address line 2, city, state, country. Okay, user, address line 1, address line 2, and what was that? City, state, country, and postal code. Okay, now let's write some address here. Let's first take the user ID. I'm gonna take this user's ID, and let's paste this here, and I'm gonna add some address. Okay, so address I've added, and let's click on send. Yeah, the address is created for the user. Let's see. Okay, I think it is there in our database. Yeah, it is there. Perfect. Now let's uh, go to addresses.ps, and let's create the next route, that is update the address. So router.put slash update slash the address ID, and the function, let's copy this, paste it here. Yeah, let's add the try catch block. Error, next error. Okay, so const updated address equals await address, the address model dot, I'll update this by find by id and update. Should take the id equals dot params dot id, and it should set the uh, things that are passed inside the body. So request dot body and new should be true. Yeah, now let's return the updated address and we are good to go. .json and updated address. Okay, so this route is also done. Let's test it. Update. Let's first, it should be post request, and let's first take this, paste it here, and we need the address id. So slash update slash, let's take the id from here. This is the id underscore id, paste it here, and I'm gonna change the address line 1 to only the New York. Yeah, let's click on send, and yeah, it is updated. Let's check in our database also. So the address line 1 is changed to New York. Perfect. Let's revert this back. Yeah, and I hope it is reverted back. Yeah, so now let's move ahead to the next route, that is delete route. So let's copy this, paste it here. Let's change this to delete. Let's change the URL also, delete. So await address dot find by id and delete. Find by id and delete, and it should take the id. So request dot params dot id, and let's add some message here. Address has been deleted. Yeah, let's create the new request for delete route. Delete, it should be delete, and let's take this URL, paste it here, and let's change this to delete. Let's click on send, and yeah, address has been deleted. Let's check in our database. Yeah, there are no addresses, so the address is deleted. Now let's create the address again because we are gonna need it later. It should be there. Let's see. The address is there. Now let's move ahead to the next route, that is get all user addresses. It should get user addresses. Yeah, it should get all the addresses from a user. So router dot get slash user id, and let's copy the starter of the function. It's too big actually. Paste it here. Try catch. Next error, and const addresses equals await address dot find, and it should take the user id. So request dot params dot user id, and let's return this addresses. Yeah, let's create new request for it. Get all. Let's create some more addresses. I'm gonna fastly edit this. I'm gonna add some new addresses for this. Okay, so I have created three addresses for our two users. Now I'm gonna get addresses based on the user id. For that, let's take this user's id and paste it here. Let's see, there's one address, and if I change the username, if I take this user's id, now if I change this, and I should get two addresses. Yeah, there are two addresses, and this route is also perfectly fine. Now let's close these things and let's move ahead to our next route. I'm gonna create the routes for orders. So order.ts. Let's first do the same step again. Import the express and define the router. Export the router. Yeah. Let's create the first route, that is the create order route. Create, and router dot post create, and let's write the function request response and the next function. Let's add the try catch block. Next error, and let's take the request body to create the new order model. Let's import this, and let's take the request dot body inside it. Const saved order, equals await new order dot save. Okay, now let's return the saved order. Yeah, saved order. Let's go to Thunder client and let's create a new folder for it. Orders, new request, create. And before that, let's import the router into our index.ts. Import order route from slash routes slash orders. Okay, let's define the middleware here. API slash orders, sorry, order and order route. Let's now create a dummy order by hitting the API, and it should be post request, and let's add the URL. It should be order. Let's add the body. Before that, let's see what the order model contains. Okay, first of all we need the user ID, then products, and it's of type array. Yeah, array. And let's add some products here. Product, and quantity. Yeah, let's make it 1 for now. Let's add another product, quantity 2. Now let's add the next thing, that is total price and status and address. Yeah, so let's write total price, address, and status should be by default pending. So let's take one of the user IDs. So user ID, and we need the product ID. Let's take it from here. Oh sorry, we need the product ID, so let's take the product ID, paste it here, and let's take another product ID. Let's take this one, paste it here, and let's 99.97, and let's take address ID. Let's take this one, paste it here, and yeah, why the error is there? Okay, now it's gone and it should create a new order. Let's test. Okay, there is some problem, I guess. Internal server error. So inside our order for the status, okay, it should be by default pending. So let's remove this and make default pending. Now it should work. Let's click on send. Okay, so I've started the server, database is connected. Now let's click on send, and yeah, the order is created. Yeah, perfect. So order creation route is also complete. Now let's move ahead to the next route, that is cancel order route. or delete order. Actually, let's make it cancel. Yeah. Now let's write router dot delete and slash delete, or let's write slash cancel slash the order ID, and let's copy this, paste it over here. Now let's add the try catch block. Okay, now let's first find the order, or we can just directly delete that. Await order dot find by ID and delete. Let's write the ID here, that is request dot params dot ID, and let's return the response with status code of 200, and let's add a message here, order cancelled. Yeah. So let's refresh this and let's see. This one is the order, and there are two products. Okay, now let's create the new request, that is cancel, and it should be delete. Let's add the URL. Let's copy this, paste it here. Let's write here cancel slash we need the order ID. So for that, let's copy the ID from here and paste it over here. Let's click on send. So order is cancelled. Let's refresh this, and yeah, the order is deleted. So this route is also complete. Let's create the order again, and now let's move ahead to the next route, that is get user orders. So router dot get slash orders slash the slash actually let's write only the user ID. Now let's copy this, paste it here, try catch block. Now just find the order from the database using the order model. So const order orders equals await order dot find. I'm gonna find this using the user ID. So user should be request dot params dot user ID. Yeah, and I'm gonna populate the address. So let's return the response with status code of 200, and inside the JSON let's write orders. Yeah, now let's create some more orders. For that, I'm gonna changing this, and let's take some products ID. Let's change this, and let's click on send. A new order would be created. Yeah, now just change the user ID. Let's take this user, paste it here, and now let's create the new order. And before that, let's change the address also. Let's take the user's address. Yeah, let's paste it over here, and now let's click on send. Yeah, So new order is created. Now let's fetch one of the user's orders. Let's create new request, get user orders. It should be a get request. Let's add the URL. We need the user ID. So uh, let's take this. Okay, this is the order ID, so we need the user ID. Let's take the user ID and paste it over here. Let's click on send, and yeah, this user has two orders. Perfect. So now let's take this user's ID and paste it here. Let's click on send, and yeah, perfect. So our orders route is completed. Now let's move ahead to our next route. Let's create a new route, that is cards.ts. Now let's work on this route. Let's import the express from express package. Let's define the router, express.router. Let's write the export statement, export default router. Okay, now let's create the first route, that is add to cart route. So it should be a post request. So router dot post slash add, and let's create the function request of type request, and response should be of type response, and the next function next should be of type next function. Yeah, let's close it and let's create the try catch block. Okay, so now for the first step, I'm gonna destructure some of the things from request.body, that is the user ID and product ID and the quantity from request.body. Okay, after that I'm gonna find the cart associated with the user. So await cart, let's import the cart model and find one. Let's find the cart using the user ID, user colon. Let's take this, and yeah, user colon user ID. Okay, and there if the cart is null, then I'm gonna create a new cart. There is no cart, then I'm gonna create a new cart for the user. So cart equals await cart dot create. I'm gonna create the cart, and I'm gonna add the user ID and an empty array for the cart. Products should be an empty array. Okay, so cart should be initialized, and after that I'm gonna write const existing product index. I'm gonna find the product from the cart. So cart dot products dot find index, and let's write here item. So item dot product dot to string, it is the ID of the product, equals the product ID. So if it finds the product ID, then we'll get the existing product index, and if we successfully get the existing product index, that means it should not be equals to -1. Then what we are going to do is cart dot products and existing product index dot quantity should be increased by the quantity which is provided in the request.body quantity. Okay, this one. And else, if we don't get the product, then I'm gonna write cart dot products dot push. I'm gonna push the product ID. So product should be the product ID, and its quantity should be the quantity. Okay, so that's it, I guess. Now I'm gonna save the cart. So cart should be saved, and after that, let's return the response dot status of 201.json. I'm gonna write a message here that is uh, item or item added to cart successfully. Okay, so at first I'm gonna restructure the user ID, product ID, and quantity. Then I'm gonna find the cart. If we don't get the cart, then I'm gonna initialize the cart with the user ID and an empty array of products. Now I'm gonna find the product inside the products array, and if I get the product, then I'm gonna increase the quantity, and if I don't get the product, then I'll add the product into our product array. Okay, perfect. So let's test this route. Before that, let's import the route inside index.ts. So import cart route from dot slash routes slash carts. Okay, copy paste it here. It should be API slash cart, and it should be cart route. Okay, and this should be carts. Okay, now let's test this route. Let's create a new folder, carts. Let's create a new request, add. It should be post request. Let's add the URL, API slash carts, sorry, carts slash add. Let's add inside the body. Let's add the user ID. After that, the product ID, and then the quantity. Okay, yeah, user ID, product ID, and quantity. Let's write this as 2, and let's take the product ID from the database. Let's go to products, and let's take one of the products. Let's take this one, paste it here, and go to users and take this one, this users ID, and yeah, paste it here. Now let's click on send. Okay, item added to cart successfully. Now let's click on send again. Now the quantity should be 4. Let's refresh. because that was the same product. So let's go to carts and array, and the quantity is 4. Okay, perfect. Now let's try to add another product. Let's go to products, and this time let's add this one. Copy the product ID and paste it here. Let's click on send. Now let's go and see. A new product should be added. Let's go to carts. Okay, a new product is added with a quantity of 2. Okay, perfect. So our add to cart functionality is working fine. Now let's move it to the next route, that is remove from the cart. So let's write as remove, and it should be router.post. The URL should be uh, slash remove. Okay, let's copy the first line of the function, paste it here. Let's add try catch block. Next error. Okay. Okay, so now inside try block, I'm gonna destructure the user ID and the product ID from request.body, product ID and the user ID. Let's take it here. Okay, request.body, and after that let's try to find the uh, cart using the user ID. So const cart equals await cart dot find find one. I'm gonna find it using the user ID. So user should be user ID, and if I don't get the cart, if uh, there is no cart, then I'm gonna return the custom error. So let's write throw new custom error. Status code should be 404, and I'm gonna write cart not found. Okay, now if there is cart, then I'm gonna try to find the product using the product ID. So const product index equals cart dot products dot find index and item dot product dot to string should be equal to the product id. Okay, so now let's write the condition. Like if I get the product index, I mean if that is not equals to -1, that means I've got the product index. Else if I don't find the product index, then I'm gonna simply return the response, or I can throw the error. So throw custom error. Let's throw an error. Throw custom error 404 product not found in cart. Okay, and if there is product, then I'm gonna see if the quantity is greater than 1. So cart dot products, and let's write the product index dot quantity If it's greater than 1, then I'm gonna reduce the quantity by 1. So let's try this, and it should be reduced by 1. And else, if the quantity is 1, then I'm gonna remove the product from the cart. So splice cart dot products dot splice and product index, and it should be 1. Okay, so the product should be removed from the cart. Now I'm gonna save the cart after this operation. So await cart dot save, and now let's return the response dot status of 200 dot json. Let's add a message, and the message should be item removed from cart. Yeah, item removed from cart. So okay, I'm gonna first getting the user ID and product ID. After that, I'm gonna find the cart. If the cart is not there, I am throwing the error. If then I'm finding the product index. If I get the product index, then I'm gonna checking for the quantity, and based on that I'm gonna set the quantity or removing the product after that. And if the product is not there, then I'm gonna throw the error that product not found in cart. Okay, perfect. Now let's test this route. Let's test it. Let's create a new request, remove. Okay, let's make this request to be post request, and slash cart slash remove, and inside the body I'm gonna write the product ID here, and I'm gonna write the user ID. Okay, and let's take them from here, paste it here, and for the product ID, let's okay, there is some error. Let's add comma here. Let's take this product ID. Okay, after removing the quantity should be 1, so there is quantity of 2, it should be 1 now. Okay, item removed from cart. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, the quantity is now 1, so it is working perfectly fine. Let's try to request it again, and this product should be removed by now from the cart. Let's see. Okay, there is one product, and yeah, the product is removed. So remove product from the cart functionality is working fine. Now let's test for this product also. Let's click on send. Now the quantity should be 3 by now. Let's see. Okay, yeah, the quantity is 3. Perfect. Perfect. And now let's create a new request of get cart, get user cart. Yeah, this should be simple. So router dot get slash user id, and let's write the function here. Let's copy this, paste it here. Okay, now let's add the try catch block. Okay, next arrow. Now let's write const user id equals dot params and const cart equals await cart dot find. I'm gonna find the cart using the user id, find one, and user colon the user id. Okay, let's add parentheses here. Yeah, and I'm gonna populate the uh, products inside of the cart. So products dot product. Yeah. So inside products there is product. Now let's send the response dot status of 200.json the cart. Okay, cart. Yeah. Now let's test this route. I can before that I can add another condition, that is if there is no cart, then I'm gonna throw the custom error 404 and cart not found. Perfect. Now let's go and create the request for it. Get user cart. Let's copy this, paste it here. Let's take the user's ID. So cart slash the user ID. Let's click on send. And yeah, we can see the user's cart and we can also see the products along with the quantities. Perfect. So our cart route is done. Yeah, it's done. Let's close all the tabs. Now let's move ahead to the next route. Let's create it first. Wishlist.ts. Yeah. Now let's import Express from Express package. Okay. After that, const router equals express.router. Now let's write the export statement here. Export default router. Okay. Now let's create the first route, that is add to wishlist. So slash add router dot post slash add and async function request response and the next function response from express package and the next function. Okay, and after that let's create the package block. Okay, so now let's first restructure some properties from the request.body. So I'm gonna write const user id and product id from request.body. Then I'm gonna write let wishlist equals await wishlist dot find one using the user id. Okay, and if I don't get the wishlist, then I'm gonna create a new one for the user. So if there is no wishlist, I'm gonna create the wishlist for the user. wishlist equals await wishlist dot create. User should be the user ID and products should be an empty array. Okay, so after that, if wishlist dot products dot find, uh, I'm gonna find the product using the product ID. Product dot toString equals the product ID. Then I'm gonna throw a custom error saying that the product is already present in the wishlist, so product already exists in the wishlist. Okay, and if it's not present, then I'm gonna add the product to the wishlist dot products dot push. I'm gonna push the product ID, so product colon product ID. Okay, it should be small letter, and I'm gonna save the wishlist. So await wishlist dot save. Then I'm gonna return the response with a status code of 200 and JSON. Let's add a message here that product added to wishlist successfully. Okay, so what we are gonna doing here is I'm gonna getting the user ID and product ID. After that, I'm gonna finding the wishlist. If I don't get the wishlist, then am creating the wishlist. After that, I'm gonna finding the product. If it's already there, then I'm gonna throwing the product already exists, and if it's not the case, then I'm gonna adding the product to the wishlist. Now let's import the wishlist route to index.ts. Inside routes, inside wishlists. Okay, now let's use it as a middleware slash API slash wishlist, and let's write the wishlist route here. Okay, now we are good to test our wishlist route. So let's create a new folder for it, wishlists, and yeah, let's create a new request that is add. It should be post request. Let's write the URL. It should be wishlist, and inside the body I'm going to pass the user ID and the product ID. I can take it from the cards add request, so let's take it from here, paste it here. We don't need the quantity. Let's remove this and remove this. Let's remove the comma also. Now let's click on send. Okay, I guess there is some problem. Okay, cart model, that's strange. Why it's showing cart model here? Okay, it looks fine. This also looks fine. Why it's not working? Cannot override cart model once compiled. Okay. So let's check the types. I think it should be fine. Let's check the wishlist model. Okay. Okay, this should be wishlist. Sorry for the silly mistake. Now it should work. Yeah, it should work now. Now let's click on send. Okay, product added to wishlist successfully. Let's refresh. Okay, go to wishlists and see. Yeah, the product is added. So let's click on send again. Product already exists. Okay, now let's move ahead to the next route, that is remove from the wishlist. Remove. So router dot post slash remove, and let's copy this, paste it here. Let's add the try catch block. Next error, copy this because we are going to be needing the user ID and product ID. Actually, let's copy this whole thing and paste it here. Let's remove this and let's throw a custom error here, 404, and wish list not found. Not found. Okay, after that I'm gonna search for the product inside the wish list. So wish list dot, I'm gonna use the filter method to filter out the product from the wish list. So wishlist dot products equals wishlist dot products dot filter, and let's filter out the product ID from the products array. So item dot product dot toString should not be equal to product ID. And after that, let's save the wishlist. Why some error is there? Okay, I've already fixed that, but that's strange actually. Let's, okay, yeah, now it's working. Let's remove the terminal. Okay, and now let's save the wishlist. So await wishlist dot save. Now let's return the response dot status 200 dot json, and let's add the message. The message should be product removed from wishlist. Yeah, now let's test the route. Remove. Let's copy this, paste it here. It should be post request, and let's change the URL. It should be remove. Let's take the body from here, paste it inside the body. Let's click on send. Okay, so product removed from wishlist. Let's see. It should be empty. The wishlist should be empty. So yeah, there is no product. Perfect. So this route is also done. Okay, now let's create our next route, that is get the wishlist. So get, and it should be a simple route. So router dot get colon user ID. Let's add this line, paste it here. Get user wishlist. Let's add try catch block. So const wishlist equals await wishlist dot find. I'm gonna find using the user ID. So find one and user colon user ID. Request dot params dot user ID. Okay, and I'm gonna populate the products also. So populate the products are inside the products array. So products dot product. Now let's return the response. Before that, let's add a condition here. Wishlist not found. Now response dot status 200 dot json. I'm gonna send the wishlist. Okay, now let's test this out. New request get. Let's add the URL wishlist slash. I'm gonna add the user ID here. So product is added to the wishlist. Now let's add another product. Let's take this one, paste it here. Okay, the product is added to the wishlist. Now I'm gonna take the user ID. Let's take this user's ID and paste it here. And I have created two wish lists. Yeah, there are two wish lists with products. Now let's take this user's ID. Let's try to get this user's wish list. Okay, perfect. The response is coming, and let's try to get this user's wish list. Paste it here. Let's click on send, and yeah, this route is working perfectly fine. So wishlist route is completed. I think all of the routes are completed, and yeah, we are almost done. But before that, let's go to index.ts and add verify token here, because we are gonna verify the token before this routes. So I'm not gonna add the verified token before the product route, because we don't need that, because most of the routes in product route are public routes except the create product route. So yeah, our project is done, and I hope you have learned a lot about REST APIs, and now you can use TypeScript in your REST APIs. So it's a wrap for our today's video. Until next time, happy coding and best of luck on your e-commerce app development adventures. Cheers.